Harikatha in Kishkinda Khanda. We'll start with a prayer and we'll continue. Kujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Arusya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shunvan Ramakathanadam Ko Nayati Varangati Yat Pibam Satatam Ramacharitamrita Sagaram Adruptastam Munim Vande Pracheta Samakalmasham Goshpadi Kitavarasham Masaki Kitarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Anilatmajam Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Sokanashanam Kapi Samakshahantaram Vande Lankabhenkaram Amishikritam Goshpadi Kritasagaram Trinikrita Dasagrivam Anjaneyam Namamyaham Ullangya Sindhostalilasalilam Yasokavahnim Janakatmajayaha Adaya Teneva Dadaha Lankam Namamitam Pranjaliranjaneyam Anjaneyam Atipatalanam Kanjanatri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijatatarmulavasinam Bhavayami Paumananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Pitamastakanjalim Bhashpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namatarakshasantakam Manojavam Marutulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayudam Mukyam Sriramadutam Sirasanamami Yakkarnanjali Samputaiharasam Yakpipatyadrat Valmiki Ramayana Ramayanakyam Madhu Janma Vyadi Jaravipatti Maranaihi Atyanta Sopadram Samsara Sahavihaya Gachiri Bhuman Vishnur Padam Syaswatam Tadupagata Samasa Sandhiyogam Samamaduropanatardhavakyabhaddam Raghuvara-charitam Muni-pranitam Dasasirasascha-vadam Nishamayadvam Valmiki Krisambhutanam Ramasagaragamini Punadubhunam Punyat Ramayana Mahanadi Slokasara Samakirnam Sarga-kallola Sankulam Kandagrahi Mahaminam Vande Ramayana-arnavam Veda Vede Pare Pumsijate Dasaradatmajam Vedaha Pracheta Sadasit Sakshat Ramayana-atmana Vaidehi Saitam Sarudramutale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Virasane Sustitam Agre Vachaiti Prapanjanasute Tattvam Manibhya Param Vakyantam Bharadari Parivritam Ramam Bhajesyamalam Vame Bhumisutta Prascha Hanuman Paschat Sumitra Sutah Satrugno Bharatascha Parshvadalayo Vaivyaadikoneshu Sugrivascha Vibhishanascha Ivarat Tarasto Jambavan Madhye Nila Saroja Komalaruchim Ramam Bhajesyamalam Mata Ramo, Mat Pita Ramo, Bhrata Ramo, Mat Sakha Raghaveshaha Sarvasvam me Ramachandro Dayalu Nanyadevam Naivajane Najane Sakete Saradindu Kundadavale Saude Mahamandape Paryasta Agarudhupadi Palalite Karpura Deepojvale Meghasyamam Mahabaham Sugrivangad Jambavat Parivritam Saumitrina Sevitam Leela Manusha Vigraham Raghuvaram Ramam Bhajesyamalam Meghasyamam Mahabaham Sthirasatvam Dridavratam Kada Prakshamahe Ramam Jagatah Sokanashanam Jaityatibalo Ramo Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha Raja Jait Sugriva Raghavena Vipalita Hadasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Klishta Karmanaha Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam Nihantam Marutatmajahana Ravana Sahasram Me Yute Pratibalam Bhavet Shilavistu Prahartar Padapaischa Sahasrasa Adhaitvam Purim Lankam Avivadhyascha Mailim Samridadho Ganishami Stam Sarvaraksam Dharmatma Satyasandasya Ramo Dasaridiryevi Paurushecha Apratitvandohasya Rayena Jahi Ravani Namam Vishnupadaya Vishnupreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswate Devgauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschat Deshtarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokadiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Tapaswadhyaya Niratam Tapasvim Vagvidam Varam Narada Paripracha Valmiki Ramayana Om Ramayana Hare Krishna. After a wonderful Sri Ramanavami and after a marathon of Sampurna Ramayana, we decided to continue still. Thought of giving a break, but before the deities, we don't want to do the Dvitiya Vigna. This is the second time we are doing Ramayana in front of the newly arrived Rama. So, last week, the before week, we saw how Lakshmana was sent to the palace of Kishkinda to call back Sugriva, to remind Sugriva of his duty. So Lakshmana broke all the trees like an elephant crushes away grass, blades. So he destroyed all the trees and made a one-way, and he went and reached Kishkinda. And then upon looking at Lakshmana, all the Vanara soldiers, they have run away in fear. Angada approached Lakshmana. Lakshmana informed Angada to inform Sugriva and remind him of his promise given to Ramachandra. Then Angada ran inside and he told. And there were two more ministers, Prabhava and Plaksha. They also approached Sugriva and they told him about the furious Lakshmana. Then Sugriva said, why is it that the Raghavas are having such ferocious feelings towards me? Maybe because somebody complained about me. They told wrong things about me. Otherwise, what is the reason for the Raghavas to be angry on me? But then Lakshmana entered Kishkinda. He saw the palaces of all the Vanaras. He saw the palaces of Gaja, Gavaksha, Gandhamadana, Gavaya, Surari, Suhotra, Saragulma, etc. etc. And he also saw the palace of Hanuman. So Hanuman also had his own building, even though he was a brahmachari, he has his own house. Hanuman had his own house. So he looked all the palaces. So and then he entered the gateway of Kishkinda. The gateway of Kishkinda was a golden arch. It was gilded with gold. And there were several buildings. And Kishkinda looked as if it was Amaravati. It's the kingdom of Indra. And after crossing 7 well-built gardens, well-laid out gardens, then he saw the gateway of Kishkinda, then he entered the palace. Then looking at the ferocity of Lakshmana, the other Vanaras went and reported to Sugriva. Then Sugriva got up and he said, he was besides himself with all the beautiful Vanaris around him, his wives. And then he called Tara, wife of Vali. Now she's the wife of Sugriva. He called Tara and said, one might be wondering how come he married his brother's wife, but the Vanaras were, even in spite of being the performance of Sandhya-Vandana, but still they had some rules. The human rules doesn't apply to the Vanaras, they're animals. So they used to take, once the brother's wife is killed, brother is killed, they used to take his wives. But actually it is also said in Manu Samhita, in Treta Yuga, they have certain rules that if you can't get a child, so forth. We are not interested in that. But anyway, so he told Tara that why don't you please go and pacify Lakshmana? Usually, the righteous men and noble men, they do not talk in a grave tone with women. They are respectful. So if you go, Lakshmana will be pacified. But if I go, things will be different. So you go and talk to him. You pacify him. And you tell him, you convince him that I am not against the Raghavas. I am still their subordinate. And then forward I will come. Then Tara went. She was staggering. And then, she was already drunk. And then she was staggering, and then with all her ornaments, falling aside, but still, she went outside. Lakshmana stood outside the palace of Sugriva because he doesn't want to go inside. And then when Tara came out, Lakshmana bent down his head in shame, like, he couldn't look at her. Then Tara addressed him, my dear Lakshmana, why are you so angry? What is the reason for your anger? There is no need to be angry. Sugriva, my husband, he's a Vanara, a fickle-minded Vanara. He is not against Rama. He has already ordered troops to go and fetch all the Vanaras around the world. And they are about to come in a day or two. Not only that, my husband never had any intentions that are against Rama or you. he is willing to find Sita and search her. Just because after a long time he had found the kingdom and his wife, now he is enjoying all that. But with the blessings of Rama, if Rama was not there, he could not have got this kingdom. But with the blessings of Rama, he is enjoying this kingdom. And what wrong is there? Then she brought out all the stories of the sages. Even great sages, after a long time, when they were in penance, when they were following strict austere rules, still when they found celestial nymphs, they left aside their asceticism and then they started enjoying. And what to speak of this fickle-minded monkey? Tara started to talk like that, compare Sugriva with the sages. And she also said, even your own guru, Vishwamitra, when he was conducting his penance for thousands of years, when he saw Dhritachi, here Tara tells the celestial Apsara's name as Dhritachi, but it was Menaka. In Balakanda it was told as Menaka, but Tara in her drunk state she is calling some other names. She couldn't. That could be the reason. Or some people say that Dhritachi and Menaka are same, so we don't know. But anyway, she says Dhritachi. My job is to tell you whatever Tara has spoken, not make up things. So Tara said that Dhritachi, Vishwamitra spent 10 years with Dhritachi, and thereupon he has awakened from his slumber. But what to speak of Sugriva? So that's why there is a delay. But this can be forgiven by you and Rama. There is nothing wrong in it. And why are you staying outside here? Why don't you come inside? It is meet and right. Since you have come in a friendly disposition, you can come and see inside what's going on. You can also look at your friends' wives. There is nothing wrong in it. Because you have come here with a good intent, you can come. This is what Tara has spoken to Lakshmana. But then Lakshmana was furious and he said, your husband, he has strayed away from the path of dharma. He should remember that he is indebted to Ramachandra. Rama gave him the kingdom, he is indebted to Rama, he has to come and help him. And already the 4 months time lapse has been done. Already 4 months have passed, the Varsha Ritu have passed, and this is the time to search for Sita, and let there be no delay. But then when Tara invited, Lakshmana went inside. But he was still exhaling, and inhaling heavily, and he was angry, and he was sitting, and he was asked to sit down. But Lakshmana, put his face down because he was not able to see all the wives of Sugriva. Then Sugriva, as and when he saw Lakshmana coming in, he got up from his throne, and then he pulled out his garland and then he threw it on the ground. Then he went to Lakshmana and said, my dear Lakshmana, please forgive me. I have already ordered troops to go around the earth and fetch all the Vanaras to come here to be in the service of Lord Ramachandra. And I am only waiting for them. And I can never be against Rama's intentions. I am always at his disperse. I am his servant. He has given me this kingdom of Kishkindha. For the one who has killed Vali, what need is there for a person, what need is there for Sugriva to help him? Ramachandra has killed Vali. There is no need for me to serve him. But it is because of his mercy I am following him. I'm getting the name and fame that I am helping him. There is no need of me. All I have to do is just to follow Raghava and all these Vanaras, and then Ravana will be destroyed by Rama himself. There is no need of help from him, from me. But still, Ramachandra, because of his mercy, he has given me this service. Like that, Sugriva pacified Lakshmana. Then Lakshmana was pacified too. And then he said, Sugriva, even though everybody in this world is capable of making mistakes, and also everybody is capable of realizing their mistakes, and even though everybody is capable of talking or of accepting, everybody is capable of accepting their mistakes, but still nobody does it. Who else in the world accepts their mistakes? Except you, except my brother and you, he tells that. Except my brother Rama and you, who else will accept their mistakes? one might ask, then what mistake did Rama commit to accept in the first place? I mean, here Lakshmana says, even if at all such thing is there, then even then in the first place my brother would come and then only you. I was asked one time by a friend of mine, he asked, can God make anybody more powerful than him? It's a trick question. Somebody asks, can God make somebody powerful than himself? That means if you say no, then you say, then how is he omnipotent? If there is an action that he cannot do, he cannot create somebody who is more powerful than him. But if he does, then he is no more God. And it's like a logic kind of a thing, they're trying to defeat. But for them the answer is in Krishna's lifetime, where Yashoda runs behind him, beats him with a stick and then ties him to a grinding mortar, and he's sobbing and crying and his eyes are, his cheeks are wobbling and he's so scared, and it is written so vividly, and he's truly scared. So, but he's not worried, just like a honeybee that enters into the lotus flower to suck honey, and then when the lotus closes itself, the honeybee is not worried. It is enjoying the nectar. Similarly, the Lord, even though his devotees are more powerful than him, he is not worried, and still he remains the Supreme Lord. But anyway, these things are esoteric and logic can take us nowhere. But here, Lakshmana is explaining that, who else in the world other than my brother and you are noble enough to accept their mistakes. If at all they commit a mistake, who will accept it? So it's only you and my brother. So then he said, let arrangements be made, let we visit Rama and let us search for Sita. And then Sugriva ordered Hanuman, I have already ordered all the troops to go around and fetch all the Vanaras. Why don't you go and collect all of them and be stationed here? And as and when he was saying that, many thousands and thousands of Vanaras, they all came. Gaja, Gavaya, Gajaksha, Gandhamadana, Kesari, Hanuman's father bought thousands and thousands of Vanaras. Angada bought 100 Padmas and 1,000 Shankus and 100 Padmas of Vanaras along with him. And then Neela, Mainda, Dvivida, Sharabha, Rambha, Kumuda, Panasa, all these Vanaras bought millions and millions of Vanaras. There's a big count of it in Ramayana, how many Vanaras have bought. Among that, I like Nala, who bought 100,000 crores, and then on top of that, 1,100 Vanaras. I don't know what that count is, but thought it was interesting. He bought 100,000 crores of Vanaras. On top of that, he bought 1,100 Vanaras. So like that, they bought so many Vanaras. Then Sugriva saw all of them, and he asked a couple of Vanaras to fetch a nice palanquin for him. And the Vanaras have fetched a palanquin, a beautiful palanquin. And then he asked Lakshmana to sit in there. Lakshmana sat down, and Sugriva also mounted on it, and then they proceeded towards Mount Prasravana, where Rama was stationed. When they went there, it is very natural to have palanquin in the forest, right? It's easy to commute rather than a chariot or something. So Valmiki Ramayana is, again, the beauty of Valmiki Ramayana comes out here. So when they went to Mount Prasravanagiri, Sugriva went forward with his crown touching the feet of Ramachandra and his ornaments tinkling. He fell on the feet of Ramachandra, and Rama immediately made him to get up. He embraced him tightly, and then he asked him to sit down, and Sugriva sat on the floor. Rama was sitting maybe on a stone or something, and then he started speaking to Sugriva. My dear child, there should be a time for everything. If you want to entertain yourself, for that there is a specified time. And if you have to do your duty, for that there is another specified time. But if you don't do your duties on the prescribed times, you are no more than a person who is asleep on the top of a tree branch and who only awakens after he has fell down from that branch. It is so dangerous. So that's why I had to send Lakshmana, and I know how much your heart must have been troubled by the words of Lakshmana, but get up. As and when Rama was talking like that, Sugriva replied, "O my Lord, all the millions and millions of legions of Vanaras are on their way to here." And as he was saying that, the trees, the lakes, the mountains, the whole place was filled with Vanaras. Everywhere, wherever you see, there is a Vanara. And how many Vanaras are there? There is a big count. 100,000 make a lakh, 100 lakhs makes a crore, 100 crores make one Padma. I mean, there is a big count. 100,000 crores make a Padma or Shanku. 100,000 Shankus make a Samudra. 100,000 Samudras make one Parardha. 100,000 Parardhas make one Ogha. 100 Maha-Ogas. 100,000 Ogas make one Maha-Oga. Like that, so many thousands and thousands of Maha-Ogas of Vanaras have come. It's really inconceivable to imagine how many Vanaras have come there. It is 10 to the power of 58 when we did the count last time. One of the temple children, they were presenting how many Vanaras are there in Ramayana. So we kind of listed, we calculated how many Vanaras are there. So it amounted to 10 to the power of 58. So which is a huge number, but it's inconceivable to imagine that such Vanaras are there. But for that, I asked Hanumat Preshika Swami. He said, how many bacteria are there on this earth? Can you count and say? We don't know. I mean, we don't question so many things. I'll tell about the Avogadro number, for example. It's 6 point. How many atoms are there in a mole of a liquid or whatever? They say 10 to the 6.023 10 to the power of 23 atoms are there in so and so. Who counted it? Who knows it? I mean, we don't question it. I'll tell you a joke. Whenever we were studying, if we say something new or our professor used to comment as, "Oh, Mr. Avogadro, please get up." So it was so funny because he doesn't believe in Avogadro number as well. I mean, who knows? Who counted that 10 to the power of 23 atoms are there? But anyway, we could think that the Vanaras are dice-changing Vanaras. So they can take up huge bodies at their will or turn into tiny atoms at their will. So those Vanaras could be in the hairs of other Vanaras. Whenever time is needed, when time demands, then they come out and take their form and then fight. And maybe Valmiki is talking about all the Vanaras in the universe, who knows. Or it could be that this vast number represents, it only explains us how many Vanaras were present at that time. They were incalculable, innumerable. We cannot count them on our fingers, like how many Vanaras are there. But anyway, they all came there. Then Sugriva ordered, "Let you all stand in, be disciplined and inform me who have bought how many." And everybody informed, we have bought so many Vanaras and they are all at your service. Hanuman bought monkeys that are equivalent to Kailasa peaks. They were so huge monkeys. So many monkeys Hanuman have bought. And Angada, on the right hand, he had thousands and thousands and crores of monkeys. On the left hand, he had another, hundreds and thousands of crores of monkeys. But they all stood there. Then Sugriva told to Rama, "My dear Rama, all these Vanaras are at your disposal. They are able and willing to do any service at your command, and they would not hesitate a moment to do whatever you demand, whatever you say they are going to do. Please order them." Then Rama tells Sugriva that, "My dear Sugriva, first, whether Sita is alive or not, that should be found. And secondly, if at all Sita is alive, we need to find out the abode of Ravana, wherever he is living. Only then I can arrange or I can make arrangements to order these Vanaras. Until then, my friend, even though you know that I am your Lord, but still, it is up to you to order these Vanaras, and it is meet and right that you command these Vanaras." Then when he said that, Sugriva then called a Vanara named Shatabali. No, first he calls Vinata. A Vanara named Vinata. He calls Vinata and tells, "Take these 100,000 Vanaras with you, 1 lakh of Vanaras." Even though we have billions and Vanaras, but Sugriva only said, "Take these 100,000 Vanaras with you to the east and search the eastern quarter of earth thoroughly. search for Maithili and that Ravana as well. And you should report back to me within a month. And he explains what all the places that Vinata had to search. Vinata, when you go in the eastern direction, first you will encounter Ganga, Yamuna, Sarayu river, Saraswati, Sindhu, all these rivers. But how come it is Saraswati and Sindhu? They are in the western part of India. When Sugriva is telling the eastern quarter, he doesn't mean east of Kishkinda. He's talking about the earth when we divided it into 4 parts, the eastern part of the earth, which is, right from the westernmost point of India. He's talking about from Saraswati and Sindhu river, up to the easternmost point. So he says you will encounter all these rivers, and thereafter you will also have to search in the kingdoms of Kuru, Malwa, Magadha, Kosala, Videha. You search all these kingdoms, and after that you will reach a place where you will find a mountain called Mandhara. On Mount Mandhara, there are people with disfigured faces. They have only one single leg and they keep jumping with that leg. They're ghastly beings. Be careful with them. And you cross Mount Mandhara and go further east. You will reach the saltwater ocean. And after that, you will find an island called Java Island, Yavadvipa. Yavadvipa in modern day it is called Java Islands of Indonesia. I've read some geographical books where it is said once upon a time all these archipelagos they were a continuous chain of land masses and connected up to South America. But millions of years ago, but they said it was only very recently they have split into islands, but Ramayana tells that they were split up long ago. So even in Indonesia by that time, by Ramayana period, it was an island. So you will reach Java Island, and after that you cross and you will see Ikshu Dvipa, which is in the Ikshu Samudra. Ikshu Samudra is sugarcane juice. I don't know why Rama's lineage is called Ikshwaku, but during Sri Ramanavami, we give Panaka. Panaka is made of jaggery, right? Why do we give only Panaka? Because in Uttarakhand, that's the only drink that we can say that Rama had drunk this one. No other fruit or food is mentioned in Ramayana that Rama has eaten it. Of course, the fig tree, the bark of the fig tree is ground into paste and was offered as an oblation to Dasaratha, that was told. But what Rama has eaten or drunk, nothing is mentioned. But in Uttarakhand, only this sugarcane juice is mentioned. That Rama, since we don't deal with Uttarakhand, I'll tell stories from Uttarakhand after. So when Sita, after going away from Lanka, they went to Ayodhya. And in the second year, it was the second year, they were in the garden of Ayodhya. Then Sita comes to him. And then Rama realizes and he tells Sita, I can see the signs of a pregnant in you. You must be pregnant. Then he tells, whatever you desire, I am willing to give you. And at that time, sugarcane juice was bought and then they drank, it is written vividly in Ramayana. So maybe that's why in Ramanavami, since we don't know what he has eaten, what he has drunk, but we for sure know that he has drunk sugarcane juice, and it is impossible to, crush so many sugar canes and then distribute. So jaggery water with pepper almost tastes like sugar cane. Almost. So with pepper, without pepper it won't taste like sugar cane. I don't know what the reason is, but So, but anyway, coming back. So you will reach the Ikshu Samudra. Ikshu Samudra is sugarcane ocean. One might be wondering, what is this sugarcane ocean? Is it true? Can we believe that? I don't know. I mean, if you read the NASA chronicles, some of the scientists say that on Venus you have helium rivers or sulfur rivers and sulfur oceans. Because they are scientists, they always live in the world of chemicals. They are imagining that ocean, this river of that acid. It could be possible. We don't know it. And here, Sugriva's description of Earth is very confusing because we don't know whether I don't know whether he has described just the Earth or the entire eastern quarter of the universe. because these oceans are mentioned, that if you put all the entire universe together, there are 7 oceans, 7 spiritual oceans. One is saltwater ocean, one is sugarcane juice ocean, yogurt ocean, curd, an ocean of curd, and milk ocean, and and so forth. So anyway, so after Ikshu you will see a mountain, and after that you will see a river Shona, and after you cross all this, you will find the mansion of Garuda, where Mandehas, some Rakshasas named after Mandehas. These Rakshasas will be conducting a penance by hanging upside down. But these Rakshasas, early morning, they try to grab the sun and try to eat him away. But because of the Brahmanas who perform Gayatri, because of that hymn, the Mandehas will again fall down into the ocean and die. But then thereafter, the next morning, they rise again and then try to catch hold of the sun. And this is why the sun god loves, the Brahmanas who perform the Gayatri every, Sandhya Vandana at regular intervals of the day. But after you cross Garuda's mansion, you will also find Rishabha mountain, and then Jatarupasila. Jatarupasila is 13 yojanas in width. And after you cross the Jatarupasila, you will find Udayadri, where the sun rises. And actually, before Udayadri, you will find Lord Ananta there, Anantasesha, who is holding this entire earth and universe on his boots, who is dressed in black garments. And on that mountain, a pylon, a golden pylon, a huge pillar made of gold, and a palm tree is located, which is the Dwaja of Ananta, which bears the flag and insignia of Ananta. And that pillar and that pylon has 3 fans attached to it, like 3 leaves attached to it. And it is used as a compass, as some form of a divine compass by the demigods. You will reach that place of Ananta, and thereafter you will find Udayadri, where the sun rises. And also, you will find an ocean underneath which there is Badabagni, or a subterranean fire. Say, there once upon a time there was a sage called Uru, because his mother kept him underneath the thigh, because some of the kings came to kill him, and then his mother, to protect him, hid him underneath the thigh. That's how he became Urasa. Uram means, this thigh. So that sage, when he came out and he grew, he conducted severe penance, and then he wanted to kill all the Kshatriyas. Then the demigods came and requested him to cast off that fire into the ocean. And then that anger and fire, he cast it off into the ocean, and that became the subterranean fire, which is Badabagni. This is mentioned in the Mahabharata about this sage. Ramayana briefly, Valmiki touches him. So after crossing that Udayadri, there is Mount Saumanasa. Saumanasa, this is where Trivikrama, kept his first step when he descended. He kept his first step here, and then second step on Mount Meru, and so forth. So after that, it is not accessible to any living entity. So you cannot go beyond that far. And after which everything is west. How come the easternmost point becomes west? So, Valmiki at that time knew, or Sugriva, they all knew about the diurnal rotation of the sun. So, Earth was sphere, and when you go to the easternmost point, it becomes west. So that is already there. So that's the eastern direction. You search every village, every stone, every cave, every river, every forest, and return back here within a month and report to me whether Sita is alive or not, and about the place of Ravana, if at all you find it. And if you do not, then I have to execute coup de grace with you. So when Sugriva ordered that, it was a royal decree, and then Vinata was sent. And then, sent in the sense they did not straight away start and went away. He gave the order to the northern party, and then they took the orders, and then it is said in Valmiki Ramayana that they went away, but they're just about to make preparations. And then, Sugriva actually goes in a clockwise direction. First he talks about the east, and then the south, then west, and then north. So for the southern party, he selects most tested and tried Vanaras, true and tested Vanaras. Gavaya, Gajaksha, Divida, Mainda, Angada, Jambavan, Serari, Suhotra, Seragulma, and Ulkamukha and Ananga. All these Vanaras, tested and tried Vanaras. So Sugriva calls them, and he makes Angada as the troop leader, and then he tells southern party whatever directions they have to go. He gives a map. He tells, my dear southern party, first you will encounter the rivers Godavari, Kaveri, Krishnaveni, Tungabhadra, Tamraparni, Narmada, Tapati. You first will encounter all these rivers. You search on their banks and among the forests that are lying on the boundaries of those rivers. And you will also have to search in the kingdoms of Pandya, Andhra, Pundra, Anga, Avanti, Abravanti, and some other kingdoms. You search all these kingdoms, and then you will reach the place of Agastya near river Tamraparni. And after you cross river Tamraparni, you will find Mount Mahendra. This would be the jumping point for you Vanaras into Lanka. And then further south when you go, in that ocean, there is a Rakshasa named Angaraka. She is a shadow grabber. Based on the shadow on the ocean, she grabs the living entity and then eats it. She's called the shadow grabber, and her name is Angaraka or Simhika. In Sundarakanda, she is named as Simhika. So, and then when you cross this ocean, 100 Yojana ocean, you will reach Lanka. This is the abode of the demon king Ravana. Earlier, you may ask the question that Sugriva told that he doesn't know the whereabouts of Ravana. But now, how come he's saying that he knows the place and that's where Ravana lives? But for that, several explanations have been given. Out of which one is, after he returned back to Kishkinda, maybe Tara could have told him about the place of Ravana, because Tara knows that information from Vali. And also, he should not say, Sugriva was doubtful whether, okay, that is the place of Ravana, but after abducting Sita, will he be there or will he be somewhere else? He doesn't know. So he should not give false information to Rama about the whereabouts of Ravana. So he did not say that. So that's the explanation, that the Acharyas have given. But going forward, so you will reach Lanka, and then there are mountains named Pushpitaka. You cross those mountains, and then you will reach a mountain named Vaidyuta. Near that Vaidyuta mountain, there are so many fruit-bearing trees. You enjoy those fruits. You drink the honey. Be careful. 5 Gandharvas will be guarding that Vaidyuta mountain. Shailusha, Gramani, and 3 other such Gandharvas will be guarding that particular place. Be careful. And then further south, if you go, you'll reach the city of Bhogavati. In that city, Bhogavati, it's a city of serpents. Agastya also resides there. He has a big palace, and even Vasuki, the serpent Vasuki, lives in that city, Bhogavati. And after you cross Bhogavati, you will reach the farthest point, which is Naraka, the abode of Yama. And no living entity can go to that place. You return from that point backwards. So thus he orders the southern party. And he says, you go and find Sita and come back within a month. So the southern party leaves. They haven't left yet. They are there. So and then he calls the western party leader. He is Sushena. He is not the Sushena, who was sent in the southern direction. He is uncle. He is maternal uncle. Not maternal uncle. He is father-in-law. Father-in-law of Sugriva. Father of Tara. So he calls Sushena, my dear uncle. He says, you carry out all these Vanara troops. Take 200,000 Vanaras with you. Go in the western direction and find Sita. So he tells what to search in the western direction. He says, in the western direction, first you will reach the confluence of Sindhu with the ocean. And there is a mountain, Hemagiri. And you cross that mountain, Hemagiri. then you will find a beautiful place where it is full of dry fruits. You enjoy all those fruits, but be careful, the 24 crores of Gandharvas will be guarding that place, and they are very hostile, and they wouldn't bear any kind of insult or disgrace or any kind of attack to those gardens. Maybe they are talking about the Pakistanis, I don't know. And then, so you cross these 24 crores of Gandharvas, and then you go further west. There you will find an ocean in which there is an island called Chakravan. This is where Vishwakarma had sculpted the 1000-spoked wheel Sudarshana, which was taken by the demon Hayagriva. And then Vishnu, Purushottama, here Purushottama, the word Purushottama was mentioned. Purushottama fought with Hayagriva, he killed him, and then took hold of that 1000-spoked wheel Sudarshana, Chakra. He also killed Panchajanya, another demon, and then he made his spinal cord into his conch. That's why the conch is called Panchajanya. This is the place where Purushottama has conducted such a feat. And further west, there is another kingdom, Pragjyotishapura. Pragjyotisa is actually Assam, in the easternmost point. Some people say that this was a misplaced verse from, the earlier chapters here. But then it continues. But anyway, when I read it was there, so this was passed down to the next generation in this form. So that Pragjyotishapura where Naraka lives. Naraka is another Rakshasa. So when you go further west, then you will reach a mountain, a golden colored mountain, which is very huge when compared to the other mountain. First I thought it was Mount Rainier, but then Mount Rainier hasn't yet come yet. It could be one of the mountains from the Rockies, in the Denver region, because it says that there are 60,000 mountains next to it, and they all shine with golden color. And when you look at Denver mountains, in the sun, they almost, the gleam of, the rays, it's as if they are golden mountains, the reflection from those mountains, because they are filled with snow and, rocks. So, after you cross those mountains, you will see Ashtadri. Ashtadri is the point where the sun sets. And the sun traverses this point, Ashtadri, between these 60,000 golden mountains and then Ashtadri. That region, the sun traverses within 1.5 hours. And exactly, Seattle is west, it's exactly 1 hour from the time difference. So then you will finally reach the place of, that's where you will see Meru Savarni, a divine sage. He is the father of Hema. He is the father of Swayamprabha. Swayamprabha is the lady whom the Vanaras meet in Rikshavila cave, going forward in Ramayana. So this Meru Savarni, pay your obeisances to Meru Savarni and ask him the whereabouts of Sita. And if he knows, he will tell you. Take that information. But otherwise, proceed further. And when you go further west, you will reach the farthest westernmost point, which is the place of Varuna, which is always raining, which is Seattle. You will reach the furthermost point on this earth, the place of Varuna, and beyond which everything is dark and you cannot go there. So it's talking about exactly, our area, which is dark, you cannot go. It's a sunless region. It's all dark. Do not go there. No human beings can enter there, or at least you need to have a Microsoft badge or something. So you come back. So he tells, and then that's how he orders all the Vanaras. And then the northern party he calls Setabali. There's another Vanara called Setabali. He calls Setabali and tells him, you go in the northern direction, you search for Sita. First, you will encounter the kingdoms of Kuru, Malwa, and after crossing all these kingdoms, you will reach another mountain called Kailasa. And between Kailasa and this place, you will find a barren land, treeless land, which is like kind of a desert. I thought first it was Mongolia, but then the Kailasa peak was in Himalayas. So I don't know, maybe some other place like a Tibetan plateau, which was covered with snow and no trees were there, or just rocks. So you will reach a barren land of 100 yojanas wide, which doesn't have any trees in it. And then after crossing it, you will reach Mount Kailasa. And after that, you will reach the kingdom of Kubera. There is a great lake where Sarvabhauma, the elephant of Kubera, always comes there and takes bath in that pond with its she elephants. And after you cross the kingdom of Kubera, you will reach Shailodaka river, where some of the sages are crossing that river on the bridges made from the bamboo trees that have bent down and touching the other banks of that river. So there are some bamboo trees which are hollow and which are so huge. So these sages, they cross that river using those bamboo trees. So and then when you go further north, you will see a divine region which doesn't have a sun or a moon, but still it is brightly lit. Here Sugriva is talking about the aurora borealis of the Arctic region. So, but the sky is brightly lit. So you go to that region, and where the Ekadasa Rudras also are staying. Beyond that, you cannot go further. That is the northernmost point. You come back after reaching that point. You search for Sita for a month, and if you don't find her, return back, or if you find her, return back and inform me. And those who doesn't return within a month, they will be executed. So Sugriva ordered the 4 troops like that. Then he calls Hanuman. He calls Hanuman and says, "My dear Hanuman, you are my most trustworthy and efficient and able warrior and minister and friend. And there is no one like you. You have the swiftness of Garuda and you have the might of Garuda. Only you alone can find Sita. So you search in the southern direction where that king of demons, Ravana, is located thoroughly and find Sita and return back." And when Rama saw Sugriva giving special instruction to Hanuman, he called Hanuman and said, "My dear Hanuman, here is my signet ring in which my name is engraved. You give this to Sita as a remembrance. She will remember, and she will also put her trust and confidence in you, thinking that I have sent you. Because of this ring, she will develop confidence in you."